Welcome to another interruption. This week I'm going to be talking a little bit about a book that was written by Ray Comfort. He's an evangelist from Living Waters. He came out with a new book called Idiotic Things People Did in the Bible. And one of the first things in the Bible that he talks about is the golden calf. Okay, what did they do? Well, while Moses was up on the mountain with God, they melted their gold and worshipped a cow. Okay, why was it idiotic? Well, they had just seen God part the Red Sea, defeat the entire Egyptian army, and he was feeding them from heaven, and yet they bowed down to a cow statue. Well, here's the scoop. While Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving the law from God, the Israelites grew impatient, waiting for him to return. They came to Aaron and demanded that they made some gods for them to worship. It's like, okay. So since they didn't know what had happened to Moses, Aaron told them, well, bring me all your gold. And then he melted it down, and he fashioned it into a calf idol. The people proclaimed, this is your God, O Israel. This is what brought you out of the land of Egypt. They built an altar before it and held a feast, offering burnt offerings for this golden cow that they just built. Meanwhile, on the mountain, God told Moses what the people had done, and they had corrupted themselves so quickly after being delivered from Egypt. Moses started pleading with God, and he said, God, please turn away your wrath. Remember your covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who's now called Israel. The Lord relented from destroying them. Moses went down the mountain carrying the 2 stone tablets, handwritten by God. But when he saw the calf and the dancing, his anger burned hot. He threw down the tablets, shattering them at the foot of the mountain. He took the calf, he burned it, ground it into powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it. Now Moses confronted Aaron, who blamed the people's demands and claimed that the calf just simply popped out of the fire. While the whole nation was in chaos, Moses then called for those who were on the Lord's side, and the sons of Levi rallied to him. At Moses' command, they went through the camp and killed about 3,000 men who persisted in idolatry. The next day, Moses returned to God to plead forgiveness for their sin. God sent a plague on the people for what they had done. Okay. But there is a sin that is prevalent in the Bible, but a few people understand it. And most are guilty of violating it in one way or another. What sin is that? Idolatry. God saw fit to address it in the first 2 of the 10 Commandments. It's not merely creating a physical golden calf or statue of a saint, while crafting graven images and bowing down to them. That's obviously idolatry, but there's more subtle and perhaps even prevalent form. But whatever the case, idolatry arose while Moses was up on the mountain. At the time Israel made the golden calf, Moses had disappeared. They didn't know what had become of him, and that's why they took their gold and formed it into a golden calf. That, of course, is really a dumb thing to do. They were claiming the calf they had just made was worthy of worship. Okay. They even said the calf had miraculously delivered them from Egypt and would guide them in the future. Further on in the passage, it described what happened. When Moses saw that the people were unrestrained, for Aaron had not restrained them, to their shame among their enemies. Now the word unrestrained, also translated as naked or out of control, running wild. It implies that they had cast off not only their moral restraint, but possibly their clothing as well. The Hebrew word is para, which can mean to let loose, to expose, or to let go. It often carries a connotation of indecent or chaotic behavior. Listen to what the psalmist says about it in Psalm 115. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they do not speak. They have eyes, but they do not see. They have ears, but they do not hear. Noses they have, but they do not smell. They have hands, but they do not handle. Feet they have, but they do not walk. nor do they mutter through their throat. Those who make them are like them, and so is everyone who trusts in them. As Israel danced around its golden calf, it was being as dumb as the idol itself. They didn't have God's physical law, but however, they did have the work of the law written upon their hearts, leaving them without an excuse. You know, America, our country, right here, kind of forsaken the law of Moses. It's just as guilty because of that same work of the law. But you know, our conscience echoes the truth of the first two of the first 10 commandments. We are there. It says, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children of the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments." You know, the second commandment isn't negotiable. It prohibits idolatry in any form, whether carved images to worship or elevating anything above God is idolatry. His jealousy here speaks of his deep love and refusal to share his people with a false god. While Ezekiel 18 says that God holds each person accountable for his or her own sin, there is a generational impact from sinful lifestyles. The sinful patterns of one generation often becomes the norm for the next. You know, as fun as it is making fun of what idiotic things, you know, others have done in the past, how about you? Are other generations watching you practice idolatry? Is your sin dragging others to hell with you? Maybe even someone you really care about, and you hope they don't end up in hell. It's not too late to ask the Lord for wisdom and to point out anything idiotic that you might be doing in your life that could affect you and others. Just something to think about. Till next time.